Tonight on Texas News Channel, a deeper look into our country's political tensions.
Robberies continue to spread through West Campus.
And the passing of the oldest living Longhorn letterman.
You're watching Texas News Channel,
your leader for live local UT coverage. For Tuesday, October 20th, I'm Alexa Sherry.
And I'm Megan Fee. Thank you for joining us tonight.
This election cycle has left many voters exhausted and strained. Disagreements on policy seem to often devolve into arguments over basic facts. Our reporter Josh Fowler investigates the causes in this special report.
Polarization. It is a word that has become intertwined with American politics. How did we get from simply disagreeing with a political opponent to having a complete lack of respect and seeing the other side as the enemy? Tonight, we will explore the many reasons why we as a country are America, a divided nation. If you watch the news, you've seen many scenes like these.
Destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020.
Please,
have you Mr. Chairman, this is intolerable harassment of the witness.
What's wrong with that? You need your medication.
The radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list?
I think
this is so unprecedented.
But what does the data have to say about polarization in America? According to the Pew Research Center, Americans believe now, more than in the past, that there is a serious conflict between the Democratic and Republican parties. So what are the causes of this increasingly hostile environment in American politics? According to Barber and McCarter of Cambridge, there are several factors. One cause is partisan sorting, where voters increasingly hold the views that align with the major parties rather than more moderate candidates. In addition, many voters tend to watch news that confirms their beliefs. These two examples of the causes of polarization create an electorate that encourages members of Congress to become more polarized, creating a snowball effect. I spoke to a UT student who's voting in this election about their thoughts on the current political landscape.
I'm worried about the future, just with the coronavirus and the changes that's happening in the White House at the moment. But I think Americans are strong and they're resilient. So I think the future looks bright. I do believe that we're still going to be very, very divided.
So, what can be done about incivility in our civil discourse? According to Kleinfeld and Sobel from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, call out your own party when polarizing and hateful language is used. Avoid bad jokes that could be seen as cruel and unfair. They normalize prejudice far more than overtly prejudiced judgments. And remember to be kind to one another. We are all human. The divisions in America will take time and effort to heal, and there will always be disagreement. However, if polarization is allowed to worsen, consensus and agreement, which are crucial to a democracy, will be harder to obtain. For the Texas News Channel, I'm Josh Fowler.
Come back next week for an update on all things politics, as we move closer and closer to the election in November.
This past Saturday, a UT student reported being robbed at gunpoint in West Campus. UTPD says that the incident happened at 2100 block of Nueces Street. The suspect is described as a Hispanic male with a dark color, medium-length full beard and a mohawk hairstyle. He was last seen wearing a black sleeveless shirt and baggy blue jeans with a Louis Vuitton belt. APD is investigating, and anyone with information is encouraged to call APD.
The oldest living Longhorn letterman, John Henderson, died last Friday. Henderson attended UT in 1934, where he played under head coach Clyde Littlefield for his first 2 seasons and Jack Chevy for his final 2. At the university, he was a student athlete completing an education degree. He met his wife Charlotte, who was studying to become a teacher. The two moved in 1939 and were recently named the oldest living married couple in the world by the Guinness World Records. The two moved in 2009 to Longhorn Village, which is a retirement community for UT alumni. Henderson was a longtime season ticket holder who attended at least one game for 84 consecutive seasons until 2019.
Last Wednesday, Travis County decided to opt out of Governor Abbott's decision to allow counties to reopen their bars to 50% capacity. Travis County Judge Sam Bisco says he will reevaluate his decision in 2 weeks on the matter of reopening bars and clubs. Even if students are ready to hit the clubs again, they won't be able to just yet.
I think that the bars should not reopen because it's not safe to do so, but that doesn't mean that I don't want them to reopen because I think they bring a lot of the college experience to campus.
A new decision made by the Texas State Board of Social Work examiners allows social workers to deny clients who are LGBTQ or have a disability. The board voted unanimously on Monday to change a section of its code of conduct to remove disability, sexual orientation, and gender identity from a clause that establishes when a social worker cannot refuse service to a client. The change was made due to a recommendation from Governor Greg Abbott, who said the conduct did not align with the state's occupation code, which determines how and when the state may discipline social workers.
The 2020 election season is in full swing, with early voting taking place across the state. TNC's Claire Stevens takes a look at how early voting provides a useful alternative to voting on Election Day, especially in these times of COVID-19.
I'm here outside of Gregory Gym, one of two early voting locations here on campus. Even though Election Day isn't until November 3rd, many Texans have already cast their ballots. Travis County's voter registrar announced that a record-breaking 97% of eligible Travis County residents are registered to vote, and more than 2 million ballots have already been cast statewide as of this weekend.
It just spreads out the amount of people who are going to be voting. So it's standard in pretty much every state. Like, it's just simply not even remotely feasible to squeeze that many people in on one day. So we need lots of early voting, and it helps relieve the pressure on the polling sites.
Early voting is expected to be especially important this year, as those with concerns about coronavirus attempt to avoid Election Day crowds. Such concerns also led Governor Greg Abbott to extend early voting by 1 week. Many UT students are taking advantage of the ability to vote now.
I decided to take advantage of early voting because I thought it would be less of a hassle the earlier I went. And also this was my first time voting. So I just wanted to make sure that it went well. And I went with friends too. So that made it easier.
If you're interested in voting early, you can do so through October 30th on campus at Gregory Gym or the Flan Academic Center. Claire Stevens, Texas News Channel.
This Friday, UT students gathered to march in protest of Nigeria's Special Anti-Robbery Squad, a police unit more commonly known as SARS, which has been accused of torture and committing extrajudicial killings. At the protest, UT students marched from campus to the state capitol, carrying signs and chanting. This was one of many protests around the world against police brutality in Nigeria. In response, Nigeria's president has vowed to disband SARS, though critics worry it will not be enough.
To celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month this October, Whataburger released a version of Loteria themed around the fast food chain's staple ingredients and iconic design. Traditional rules and variations, as well as the custom cards, can be found on the Whataburger website. The company says it makes sitting around the table with the family a lot more fun, especially right now.
This past Saturday, the Women's March in Austin took place in Woodbridge Square Park. Supporters gathered together to speak on various issues, such as the Black Lives Matter movement, abortion rights, and COVID-19 resources. One of the major focuses was the next Supreme Court nomination. The Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled to vote this Thursday on Amy Coney Barrett's nomination.
UTPD is getting a new satellite office. The office will be located at 25th Street and Guadalupe Street at the old Walter Rebb Hall building. This announcement comes right after Governor Abbott's news about mobilizing Texas DPS troopers to help Austin and UT police departments increase security around West Campus.
Coming up on Texas News Channel, Stephanie Molina will be bringing you up to date on the worlds of business.
So stay tuned and we'll catch you right after the break.
Welcome back to Texas News Channel. A former Goldman Sachs hedge fund chief predicted the value of Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, will hit $1 million in as little as 5 years. This prediction comes as the Bitcoin price has been up around 50% since January. According to Forbes, Bitcoin is expected to retain its value or grow in value similarly to gold. The current value of one Bitcoin is $11,444 US dollars. US stock is falling as Congress has not yet reached an agreement on a government spending bill as a result of the pandemic. The S&P 500 index is slipping and it will most likely continue to fall until there's an agreement reached between the lawmakers. The Federal Reserve is warning that there may be implications for the future of the economy if new aid isn't released. Austin City Council passed a $15 million package to help Austin businesses impacted by COVID. The package aims to provide relief to music venues, childcare providers, bars, and restaurants. City sales tax revenue will cover more than half of the funds. Applicants can get up to $160,000. Live music venues can receive $40,000 per month for 6 months. The Texas unemployment rate rose up to 8.3% in September, compared to August rate of 6.8%. Although many industries were waiting for the pandemic situation to lessen in the fall, these past few weeks have shown the opposite. Industries announced major layoffs such as Southwest Airlines, who laid off 19,000 workers due to the massive decline in demands. The high unemployment rate also comes at a time where financial support is exhausted from the CARES Act. With Congress yet to extend the act, businesses are left with nothing else but eliminate jobs to stay afloat. That's all for me. I'm Stephanie Molina reporting live from the Business Center. Now over to Caroline for weather.
Will the sunshine be here to stay this week? Stay tuned to find out after the break. Although last week's weather was full of sun, this week appears to be quite the opposite. Tonight will be cloudy with a low of 69. The rest of the week will be dry, but it won't be as sunny as usual due to partly cloudy skies. On Wednesday, you can expect a high of 87 and a low of 68. Thursday will look more or less the same with a high of 87 and a low of 67. The end of the week will have highs going between the upper 70s and upper 80s, with lows in the 50s and 60s. So if you're heading out during the weekend, remember to take a jacket with you. Stay safe and don't forget to wear your mask. Live from the Weather Center, I'm Carolyn Diaz.
Thanks, Carolyn. And now looking at UT sports. In lieu of Texas football having a bye week, our friends at TSTP Sports took to the Friday Night Lights covering high school football in the Austin area. Here is Matt Marinchak with more from Buda.
Last Friday, the Lake Travis Cavaliers took on the Hayes Rebels under the Friday Night Lights in Buda. Going into the season, University of Pittsburgh commit Nate Yarnell was set to be the starting quarterback for Lake Travis, but an off-season hand injury has kept him out of action to open up the season. In his place, sophomore quarterback Bo Edmondson has shined, throwing for 11 touchdowns and 852 passing yards through the first 3 games of the season, including a 6-touchdown, 459-yard performance against Hayes.
It's just, it's next man up. You gotta live up to it. We have a tradition around here, and I'm just trying to continue it.
Over the past decade, Lake Travis has been a quarterback factory, producing talent like Baker Mayfield, Charlie Brewer, and Hudson Card. Coach Hank Carter believes that sophomore quarterback Bo Edmondson could be the next one to continue the legacy.
It's hard to compare all the guys that we've had. We've had so many great players, but what I would say is at this point in Bo's career, he looks like he's going to be another really good one. But yeah, I think Bo's done a nice job while Nate's been out. I'm really excited about how much better he's getting every week.
Lake Travis scored a season-high 70 points against Hayes, but they also gave up a season-high 35 points. Coach Carter believes that the team needs to improve on some things before next week's tough matchup against 3-0 Austin High.
I think that we're doing a nice job offensively. Defensively, we've got to shore some things up. We've got to be more disciplined with our eyes and be in the right spot. We got a long way to go.
From Bob Sheldon Stadium, I'm Matt Marinchak, TSTV Sports.
Matt brought up Charlie Brewer in the video, who is now in the quarterback for the Baylor Bears. Texas faces the Bears this Saturday at DKR at 2:30 p.m. And joining us tonight to give her takes on the upcoming game is Olivia Guzman. Welcome in. Olivia, the Horns face an interesting struggle this week as the Bears have a new head coach and have only played 2 games this season due to COVID precautions, canceling some of their games. How should Texas prepare for an opponent as unknown as Baylor?
This should prove to be an interesting week. Baylor suffered a close loss to West Virginia. However, they did beat Kansas. Now, West Virginia also beat Kansas around the same score that Baylor did. Now, Texas and West Virginia both beat Tech, so based on this logic, this should be a good matchup. Texas needs to prepare for not only this game, but every game as if their season depends on it, because quite frankly, it does. The Texas offense just needs to play their game. They are the #1 scoring offense in the nation, while the defense needs to step up if they want a shot at not just beating Baylor, but every team in the Big 12.
And with the bye week after the tough loss to Oklahoma, what are you hoping is the biggest change Texas made during this past week of practice?
I really hope the defense worked hard in practice. Each week, they do seem to get a little better, but as a whole, they're not gelling together. This defense needs to make their tackles, not give up easy penalties, and overall just be more consistent. The offense needs to build their stamina. They look good in the first half and then appear to be dead the entire second half until the last 5 minutes of the game. Consistency is key, and they need to be constant and just play their game the entire game.
Thanks for coming on, Olivia. Up next is Cassidy Ellison with entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Texas News Channel. I'm Cassidy Ellison. This past weekend, Justin Bieber made his second appearance this year on Saturday Night Live. Bieber performed his song Holy with Chance the Rapper and a barn set with a neon cross. His second performance of the night, Lonely, started in his green room and ended with him walking into the spotlight on stage. Many fans took to Twitter to praise Bieber for his performances. SNL has each staff member take daily COVID-19 tests and ensures that all guidelines and social distancing rules are in place. The show airs Saturday at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, Bachelor Nation fans out there, here is the recap you were promised. Last Monday's show was anything but a normal kickoff to the season premiere. Chris Harrison opened with assuring that everyone on the show tested negative for COVID and spent the proper amount of time in quarantine. This season will take place in California at the Palm Springs La Quinta Resort. I could dive into all the men, but it seems like only one matters, Dale. Claire told Chris she thought she met her husband after meeting Dale. The only drama we get later in the night is between Tyler and Yosef. To no surprise, the first impression rose went to Dale. Stay tuned for next week as we start to get all the rumors answered. Demi Lovato called off her engagement with Max Eric after rumors spread that he was in it for the wrong reasons. The couple were also having issues over old tweets and social media that led to their breakup. Eric went on Instagram Live accusing Lovato of not talking to him at all about the breakup and how he is still hurting over their separation. On the other hand, Lovato deleted all her pictures with Eric and soon after released a new single called Still Have Me on Twitter. Kanye West is speaking out on Twitter after being mentioned in an SNL skit by Issa Rae. The skit included a lawyer appearing on a morning talk show discussing the upcoming presidential election. In the final moments of the skit, Rae called out West in not so friendly terms. West spoke out saying, "I've always said SNL uses Black people to hold other Black people back. My heart goes out to Issa Rae. I'm praying for her and her family." Well, that's it for me. I'm Cassidy Ellison. Back to you.
Thanks, Cassidy. And as always, we thank you for tuning in.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Texas News TSTV.
If you have a news tip, you can reach us on all our social media sites or email us at news@texasstudenttv.com.
You can catch Good Morning Texas Wednesdays at 7 a.m. I'm Megan Fee.
And I'm Alexa Sherry. From all of us at TNC, good night, and we'll see you next week.